All right, y'all. Let's have a great fucking call. Let's get started with some wins. Who wants to go first?
I'll go. I had somebody that I had a call with back at like the second week of September. Just kind of followed up with her and she wanted to get back on a call today. So I signed her up for nutrition coaching today for 8 months. So I was happy about that. It was good. Good.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah. Fuck yeah. What
Those are the best.
she reached back out to you, you said?
Yeah, like just through conversing through Instagram and stuff. She was just one of those people that it's like you always say, it was somebody I didn't know because it was from ads. And it's just the truth is right there. These people have to learn how to trust you. And it's like she didn't buy on the call right away because it was financial. And now she's like, okay, it's not working. I got to get my shit together.
Yep, 100%. That's why it's a really good idea that when you're reviewing ad data, you look at it from a longer time perspective than a shorter time perspective. Because a lot of the leads that come in October, they probably won't sign until March, right? So if you look at your ad performance over like a quarterly basis or a half a year basis, it's going to be a more true representation. All right, let's get another win.
I'll go. I upped my ad spend by $400 and made 4,000 more dollars, and that was awesome.
Let's go. I love the sweater too. Let's
Oh,
go.
thank you.
I didn't, Jeremy, did you dress up in that costume this morning?
No, I didn't. I decided to keep it keep it professional.
Oh man, I would have laughed if you did. That would have been hilarious. That
I'll
would
go
have
put
been
it on
great.
right now.
That would have been a great introduction to the coaching department.
I know, right?
But Anna, that's freaking awesome, and your sweater is really cool. What made you say, "Hey, I'm gonna raise the investment here"?
So they went over my budget back in June, and I was initially pissed at them for going over my budget, but that was my only 25K month. And then I've been stuck at 21K. And then I was like, fuck it, let me just up it again. Well, I think actually us talking in the chat and everybody was pretty much saying, yeah, you need to spend more. So I did. And then I hit 25 again this month, which the month's not over. I'm still hopeful that we can do a little more today, but we'll see.
Yeah, you get two $2,500 packages and you get 30K.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be awesome.
It would. Maybe you could do some reoffers, like reach out to your follow-up list and give them like 10%, an extra 10% off or something.
Mm, okay. Okay.
That's usually a good end of the month trick.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
All right, let's get one more. Who wants to be the last win today?
I'll go. I had a call this morning. It was a past guy. I've talked to him before, and he kind of disappeared. And he saw my ad and came to the call, and I closed him on 12-month paid in full. So that was a huge end of the month.
That's twice that's happened to you, right? Didn't you say
Yep.
that happened last time? Somebody saw, like you reached out to somebody, they saw the ad and they reached back out.
Yep.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. I'm really happy to hear all this positivity with the ads. I know we went through a little negative streak there, but it's cool. I feel like it's finally starting to sink in, which is great. All right, y'all. So today's going to be Q&A. Before we dive in, next week will not be Q&A. So next week, everybody loved Ed at NLCA Live. He's actually going to come on our group call this time next week. There is going to be some stuff that he wants y'all to prepare. I don't have the exact list of that yet, but I'll try to get it today or sometime this week, so you guys are fully prepped. It's going to be data stuff, so you guys are going to be tested on how well you're data tracking. But all right, let's make this Q&A. Bottlenecks, challenges, questions. Let's rock and roll. Who wants to go?
I have two questions.
Let's do it.
My first question is, with what I just said, do you think I should up my ad spend maybe another $400? And then that would get, I'm like, okay, if this math checks out, then that should get me a 30K month.
What is well, sorry, lots of follow-up questions. Do you have a easy to look at data tracking sheet that I can look at?
My ads, yeah. Let me grab it.
And you can share the screen too.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a note to text Ed after this.
If you hear like crazy snoring, it's my dog.
That's okay. I get it. Frenchie snore.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you, oops, that's July. How do I get over? There we go.
It's weird that I can see double. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so we're in October here. Is there a okay, perfect. So that's a totals category at the bottom.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, let's check this out. All right, so clicks. All right, click-through rate, 0.72, conversion rate, 39%. That's really good. Apply rate, 16%. Nice. Usually 10% is a good KPI there. So you're almost double, which is awesome. Sales 17, appointment show rate 57. I would like to see that a little bit better. Close rate is super high. That's a really good indication. So 47%. And then scroll over a little bit more. All right, 2,500 cost per lead, cost per appointment. What's cost per close? Do they track cost per close? I could just figure it out really quickly. All right, so how much have you spent on ads so far? Where's that number?
A little over 2025.
And how many clients have you sold? Like the actual number?
So 17, but 4 of them are group coaching.
Okay, that doesn't matter.
Wow.
All right. I mean, yeah, your cost per acquisition is really good. It's $119. So that's a really good sign. Collected. So we are collecting. Hold on, my math isn't great right now. 11,000 divided by 44, 25%. I'd like to see that a little bit higher as well. All right, on the sales funnel side, I would like to see collected come up to 35%. And this is just random. This has nothing to do with if you should spend more or not, but these are just good notes to focus on from a sales perspective. Let's see if we can get that 25% to 35%. And I'm nitpicking here. So like we're just looking at like the final inches. And then the other one was your show rate. I don't like it to ever drop below 60%. So that would be the other area that I would want you to focus on from a sales perspective. From an ads perspective, everything looks really damn good. I don't have any qualms about the ads. What's your client sign target?
I wanted to do 20 a month.
Okay. So here's how you figure out how much you should spend on ads. You take the amount you want to sign, which in this case is 20, and you multiply that by your cost of acquisition. So how much it's costing you to sign one client, which in this case is 119. So according to this math, if you want to sign 20 clients a month, you need to be spending 2,400 a month on ads.
Okay.
And that's taking into account that everything else stays constant. So it's like a rough estimate, but yeah, 2,400 should get you around 20 clients a month.
Okay. As far as getting more money up front, I really struggle with that.
Okay, talk me.
Everybody is like, well, can I pay half now and then half later? Or like, it's everybody wants, like, it's like nobody can manage their finances and wants me to charge them weekly or has only bare minimum money to put down. Like the amount of 2-pays, I always pitch a 2-pay, 3-pay, or a paid in full. And it ends up being a payment plan.
Cool. Do you ever pitch the pay in full split in two?
Yes.
And what's the response to that?
Sometimes it's usually a month. They want a monthly payment. I only get like 2 or 3 paid in fulls a month. That I think I got like maybe 4 this month. That's why that number's so low, obviously.
4 divided by 17. That about checks out. 25% pay in fulls to 75% payment plans. That about checks out. That's about correct. However, like I said, we're just talking about a final 10% here. A few things that you could do is if you don't have a guarantee, you can do a paid in full guarantee, or you could do a second guarantee. You can have as many guarantees as you want, but a pay in full guarantee that's like a really sweet deal could incentivize them to want to pay in full. The other one would be, I don't know if do you have any financing? Do you work with any financing companies?
Well, I did sign up with Sweet Pay, but I feel like I kind of hate Sweet Pay. I just think it's hard and annoying. So I've never used it, but I'm trying to get this Affirm thing figured out. Kayla's been working with me and I think she's going to help me on our call on Friday too with that. So
Cool. I'm going to make things easy for you. That should be, in order to get this number up, that should be the only thing you focus on.
Okay. As far as guarantees, the guarantee that I use is I tell them free workouts for a year if they don't get results working with us. And then I have a whole list of what results could mean. Darren did say to me, like, hey, that's probably not the strongest guarantee because a lot of these people struggle more with nutrition. And then sometimes I use like sparingly, if they seem a little hesitant, I'll give them a work with them for free period until they're happy guarantee.
Most people are going to want money back is always the strongest, right? Because when you're saying like, hey, I'll give you free workouts or I'll coach you for free, if they haven't gotten results up to that point, their thought process is probably like, well, why would I want more from you if I haven't gotten results, right? I just want my money.
I'm a little hesitant to do a money back guarantee.
Because why?
I'm cheap.
All right, so two things. The one is the philosophy behind it. So let's say right now you're signing, like you said, 17 clients a month. All right. Let's say that we put a money back guarantee into your business. And now let's say you sign 30 clients a month because of the money back guarantee. All right. Even if 5 clients ask for a refund, you are still net positive 8 more clients a month than you were previous. So
Okay.
that's one way to think about it.
Are you supposed to offer that to everyone?
You can, up to you. If you have a really strong guarantee and that's the reason why people close, then I think it should be a prerequisite to pitching the price. Otherwise, you can use it as a negotiation tactic. I've seen it used both ways. It's really up to you. The other thing, though, and this is the other important part of getting less refunds, is making sure that you have really good stipulations and that those are communicated on the sales call and laid out on the contract as well.
Actually, I asked a question about that in the chat, and that was my second question that I had for you is when I'm wording it in the contract that, wait, let me, before I get ADD, I want to see what I actually wrote. I want the clients to communicate to us if they're not happy or getting results in order to use the guarantee before the end of the program. So how would I put that into the contract? Because I basically want to not be in a situation where like 6 months in, they're like, oh, actually this sucks and I'm not seeing any results.
100%. Were you on my Black Friday call?
I was, yeah.
All right, I think I said that there. Yeah, so in the contract, basically just the terminology around that would just be, client must express lack of results or dissatisfaction prior to the term ending. And honestly, I would put something in there that would say prior to the term ending and with ample time to be able to rectify the situation, which you could deem, right? So maybe you have certain criteria for a 3-month contract. They have to say this by day 45, right? And maybe that's it. Maybe they have to say it by the halfway point of their contractual term with you.
Can you reword how you said that to prior to term ending? I had that part because I did grab these notes from the Black Friday training call that I had taken. But the second part, prior to term ending with ample time to redeem.
Client must express dissatisfaction or lack of results prior to the contract term ending and before the halfway point of the contractual term. Look at that. I'm a fucking lawyer.
You are. Oh, wait. And sorry, I'm trying to get all of this. Can you say it just one more time?
All right. A lot of this is just, pulling
out. I know.
From the top?
No, just the contract term ending and
prior to the contractual term ending and prior to the halfway point of the contractual term, something like that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's super helpful.
You're good. I'll send you my hourly.
On that same subject, have you ever used the guarantee on a 12-month only as a selling point for that?
Yeah, you could do that too.
Okay.
Guarantees are to incentivize the action that you want. Want more pay in fulls? Create a pay in full guarantee.
Perfect.
Right. You can also do, Serena. You can also have a guarantee for each length of term. Now it's kind of complex, but if you want to go that far, you could do that too. All right, Anna. I feel like there was something we had to finalize. So, all right, what else were we talking about? We were talking about how much you need to spend, getting your upfront cash up.
Yes, the show rate. That's the other thing is my show rate does kind of suck. There's lots and lots and lots and lots of reschedules and ghosts.
Cool. Okay. So track this number. Track two numbers if you're not already. One is what percentage of your calls are being booked within 24 hours. That number should be at least 50%. And if that is not possible, so this is like another part of that. If that's not possible for you to have 50% of your calls booked next day, it's likely because you don't have enough availability, to which at that point it would be like, fuck, we might need to hire a closer.
That's exactly what's going on. They're like 4 days out, honestly, because I'm just like jam-packed.
Cool. It's time to hire a closer then. That's the next step for you. I would tell Kayla if you haven't already. And then, so that's one KPI that you should track. The other one is your reschedule rate. So of the people that reschedule, what percentage do you get back on the books? I like to see that number above 70%.
Okay.
Those two KPIs have been the greatest indicator of our show rate. So I would track those. If you have any trouble with that, just let me know in the chat and I can help you out.
Okay. Thank you.
Beautiful. Feel like that was really productive. All right. Who's next? Nobody. I know Serena is because I told her to bring something to this call.
Yeah, I can go. So kind of what I was telling Chad in my voice message about my DMer is basically where I'm at is she was doing really well for me since the spring when she's been working for me, but now that she started a full-time job, she hasn't been doing the work. Like I have her working 3 hours a day for me, and then I spend the rest of my time in the DMs myself. And I've booked a lot more calls than her, understandable, but she hasn't booked a call for me in almost a month. And when we were in Texas, unfortunately, she was in a car accident. She's fine, but she had to deal with all that crap. So she didn't work as much. No problem. We slowed down my ad spend, knowing that that was going to be the case. But I feel like she's just not putting in the work that she's billing me for. And I talked to her this past week on Tuesday and said, this has to change. I'm expecting X, Y, and Z, because she was hitting her KPIs before. And then she was good for a couple days. And then it was like back to only like, you can't tell me that in 3 hours, you only send out between 15 and 20 DMs. Like that's ludicrous to me. And there's no conversation going back and forth. So I feel like I already gave her a warning. I already gave her specifics on what I need fixed. And now I'm just to the point where I just don't really feel like it's beneficial for my business to continue having that happen.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It happened because, you pointed out the timeline, right? Right when she got the full-time job is when it happened. So like I said, my goal was to make this as much of a learning lesson as I can so that next time we can negate this. I don't know if this happens, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what I would have done is once she got the full-time job, I would have got her on a call just to gauge interest and make sure she's still committed here. And then depending on what she said, we would either, decide a plan to eventually offload her because she doesn't have the time to do this anymore. Or she would say, yeah, I'm fully committed. And then at that point, you have that conversation, excuse me, as leverage, which you could have used right now, right? You could have re-brought up that conversation and said, hey, I know you said you were committed. Your KPIs aren't reflecting that. What's going on? Unfortunately, we can't do that now. But you could still have that conversation with her. You can say like, hey, I noticed a trend once you went full time, your numbers started to go in a different direction. Is this something that you're still committed to? Yes or no, no hard feelings, something like that. That's what I would do now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I appreciate that feedback because I don't let my emotions get in the way anymore. Like it's super frustrating when people are taking advantage of you, especially financially. But when I feel like I'm somebody supposed to be in my DMs and the work isn't getting done, then I told her this the other day. I said, then I'm the one that has to play catch up at the end of the day. And I'll have time for that to do your work for you. So I thought she got it, but I do like that approach.
Yeah. Yeah. And the only reason I'm taking this angle is I think and what I'm trying to coach and teach to everybody on the call is that as a leader, when these things happen to us, I always want to say, what could have I done to prevent this? And that could be, I don't know 100% that would have solved your problem, but that would be the thing that we could have taken ownership on. In terms of her like taking your money, are you saying that she is reporting working more hours than she is?
That's what I feel, because even if she's saying she's working those hours, I don't feel like the work is getting done during that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And do you have proof of that? Like when you go in the DMs, like there's timestamps on the DMs being sent. Like, do you see that she's doing all that within the 3 hours that she's working?
She'll do it in, let's say, like the first 20 or 30 minutes. Right. And so it's like a pattern. I personally feel like she's trying to do this while she's at her other job and she gets tied up doing something else. That's what I think is happening because of the pattern I see in the timestamp.
Probably right. And further supports that we could have had that conversation earlier. That's all. It's a learning lesson. I think I said it in the chat. The first 50 hires, we're going to make tons of fuck ups, and I still make tons of fuck ups to this day. It's just a part of the job, right? Dealing with people is the hardest part of our job, and it's we're never going to be experts at it. Yeah, had that conversation with her now, heart to heart. Here's what I'm seeing. I know this kind of happened when you got this full-time job. I don't want any resentment here. Is this something you can continue to commit to? No hard feelings either way. If it is something you can commit to, let's hop on a call and do some additional training so we can get this turned around. Was that helpful?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Thank you. All right, let's do the next one. Who's up? I really like these Q&A calls. I do like doing the presentation, but I feel like I give more value when I do these Q&A calls.
Well, we get more value because when we can get like questions from you, though, seriously, like I was just telling a 10K student about Master Coach and how I feel like it's less of a time commitment. Like it's not such a mad scramble as it is in 10K because you're like trying to do all these things. But what you need help with is a lot more important. And you're so much more obviously engaging in the Master Coach chat that I never feel like I'm like dying for my calls with Kayla. Like, holy fuck, I can't wait because I have all these questions. Because a lot of my questions get answered when somebody else asks a question too. And shit, I don't even know that I might have an issue with a year from now or 2 months from now is always getting answered. So I love the Q&As. They're just super helpful.
Yeah. 10K is like it's like a tornado. Like you're doing a lot of different things, but nothing has a lot of depth. In Master Coach, you do less things, but everything has more depth. Like there's a lot more layers to the onion. All right, let's get the next one in. Who's up?
I have a question, Black Friday deals. So I know like typically you do it like based on the size of the program. So like 4 month, 6 month, 12 month, or at least that's what I've done in the past. I've added free months on. And I know the different approach this year is to give a percentage off. To make it less confusing, do you feel it's worthwhile to not do like 10% for 4 months, 20% and then 30% and just making it more of like a 25% off no matter which package you sign up for? Is that
no right or wrong way? All depends on what you care about. If you care about incentivizing longer term, then I would say that latter approach is better. If you don't really give a shit and you just want to get the sale, that depending on doesn't matter what the package is, then I would say the universal is totally fine.
All right. So I increased my prices by 15. So I figure if I take 25% off, I'm still.
Yeah. And I would recommend to inflate your prices a little bit because one, you're going to sign a lot more clients than you usually do. And if you don't have a lot of open spots available, then you're going to be scrambling.
Right. All right. Perfect. Thanks.
You got it. I actually I wrote a note to ask you guys about Black Friday today. Does everybody feel prepared with their Black Friday stuff, or does anyone need help with it? Thumbs up if you're like, I'm ready to go. Offers are made. Beautiful. Love it. Is anybody here doing a competition with their sales team, even if it is just like one or two individuals? Like even if you just have a DMer? No? Does anybody want to do a competition that isn't? Nice. Okay.
I do. What are the details?
Yes. All right, let me pull up mine really quick. All right, so we're doing a couple of things. All right, hold on, let me just pull it up. Where are you? Where are you? Okay, cool. All right, so our numbers are a little bit higher just because our package prices are higher than you guys. So we can come up with the terms here in a second. But for DMers, what we're doing is the person who books the most amount of calls that convert to clients within that 30-day time frame is going to get an extra $500. For you guys, maybe you whack that down to like 250 or 200. For closers, if you have a closer on the call, the closer who collects the most cash, so not the individual who contracts the most cash, excuse me, but collects it up front within that 30-day window. For us, they're going to get an extra $1,000. For you, once again, maybe you guys can whack that in half or 60%, right? So $400 to $500, I would say, is a fair range. We even get our VAs involved. So our VAs are the ones who are going to be reaching out to clients in terms of our re-sign offers and our ascension offers. They are getting the same bonus as the DMers. So the most amount of calls that book that sign, they're going to get an extra $500 cash. For y'all, that would be 200 to 250. And then the last one is a full company incentive. So almost everybody plays at least some role in our Black Friday, even the coaches, in terms of just like communicating about it with their clients. They don't actually do any sales. But our full company incentive is last year we contracted 614,000 during Black Friday. So if we beat that this year, we're going to give everybody 2 days PTO, but they have to use that before January 15th. So that's our full company incentive. I know I rambled. Any questions on that?
I do have a couple questions on that actually. So I'm super ashamed to say that last Friday for Black Friday, I did absolutely nothing and did not make a single sale. I did make a reel, but that's it. It was trash. So how could I do a full company incentive that is maybe different, because I can't go against like last year's $0?
Sorry. So the concern is not making any money this year?
No. You said that for the full company incentive, it's like if we beat last year's sales.
Just set a target.
Okay.
Just set a fresh target. Trying to think what you can expect. What would be a fair target? Hold on. Let me run a number really quick. 600. Okay, so you can expect, I'm just going off of our data, about 25 to 33% increase in revenue. So you can put your target about 25 to 33% higher than what you're accustomed to making.
Okay. And then what is the bonus again for the full company?
For the full company, we're going to give everybody 2 days paid off, but they have to use it before the 15th of January. How that works with contractors, because I know you guys probably have that question, and if you don't, you should, so I'll fill it in. So basically what you do is you just take what they make for the month, and then you divide it by how many days are in the month. So let's say somebody makes $5,000 a month, right? So you take the 5,000, you divide that by, let's say there's 30 days in the month on average, right? They make $166 a day. You multiply that by 2. So that means that in their next paycheck or whenever they use it, you'd give them an extra, $333. Because they're contractors, you can't technically give them paid time off. So just don't track anything on the back end. It's just sweep it under the rug. It probably won't be a big deal.
I have one more question for you, Chad. For the closer incentive, my lead DMer has just started getting her feet wet with taking closing calls for me, and she's doing pretty well. Like she's taken 9 calls and closed 8 of them.
Wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, she's doing really well.
So you already have a closer.
Yeah, and she closed like 4 deals for me during NLCA Live. I didn't have to take any calls. It was awesome. Yeah. Anyways, I would like to do some kind of incentive for her personally, but I don't want it to be like a competition of me versus her at all. But
Why
I want
not?
the incentive. Why not?
Yeah.
Um,
You want to know what I did last year? We had
sure.
a few closers go down last year, so I had to take sales calls during Black Friday, and the whole entire competition was who can beat Chad, who can close more deals than Chad, and they fucking loved it.
I feel like I have to be careful with her because she's very sensitive and I don't want her to feel like I'm coming at her. You know what I mean?
You can make it friendly, right? You guys have that kind of relationship where like
We
you
do have a good
ball,
relationship. We
ball
do.
busting
We
about it.
do. Huh?
Like, is it like a ball busting relationship? Like, is that
No, no, no.
no? Um, okay, so maybe maybe don't say I'll give you an extra X amount of money if you could beat me. Um, I don't know. I don't see it as a huge deal. I wouldn't be too nervous about it.
My other thought too is I take way more calls than she does. So she just opened her calendar, I believe, to do 2 calls a day. And I'm
Oh,
typically
okay.
doing 3 to
I got
4.
your sorry, I got your answer. Don't make it reflective of you then. Just make it a personal target. If you can bring in more than this amount, I will give you X.
Do you have an example of what a good target would be for her? Just like off the top of your head.
100%. So I have this equation in the full management of the full sales team module. But basically, do you know how to come up with sales targets like for an individual closer?
No.
No. Okay. Um, stand by. Okay, this might be a little complex then, but I'll try to go through it on the call. So it all starts with how much available slots they have for the month. So what I would do is I'd reach out to her and I'd ask her, on your calendar, how many slots do you have to give next month? That's real simple. So let's say she could take, I don't know what the number is, but let's say she could take 3 calls a day. Let's say that's her thing. And she works 6 days a week and provides 3 slots a day, right? So that's 18 slots a week. You just divide that by 7 because there's 7 days in the week. And you multiply that by 30 because there's 30 days in November. And that will give you how many slots she could take in the month of November. Okay. From there, you'll have your call booking target for the month. Do you know how to come up with the call booking target for the month?
No.
Come on, guys. You gotta go through the modules here. Okay. Well, for the call, this is gonna get really complex then. For the call booking target for the month, all right, you're gonna start with your ad spend. So do we know what we're gonna be spending on ads in November?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the extra 400, so 2,400.
Okay, 2,400. And what was the cost per call again? Do you know that metric?
Is that the 119 or is
No,
that different?
that's the cost per close.
Is that something that if that's an equation I have to do that wasn't on the sheet, then no. But if it is on the sheet,
It might be on the sheet. I think I saw it there.
he's doing cost per lead, which
What's
is not
the
per
next column
call.
over?
It's no cost per
Okay,
people in
I'll,
MC.
I'll
No.
figure it out for you. So you spent 2,025 bucks this month on ads. Is that right?
Yeah.
How many
Mhm.
calls have you booked this month?
I'm gonna grab it. But it's gonna take me a second to grab that one.
Okay. Uh, I have a different, if you don't have that, I have a different way that we can get the same answer because I already have your cost per acquisition.
I just have to do math for a second. It's 82 calls booked this month. Wait. 83.
Okay, so if you ever want to know how much it's costing you to book one singular call, you take how much you're spending on ads and you divide it by how many calls you've booked up until that point. So right now it's costing you $24 to book a singular call. All right, so now if we want to know a rough estimate of how many calls we can expect to book in November, we take our new ad spend, which is 2,400, and we divide that by 24, because right now it's costing you $24 to book one call, and we can expect to book 100 calls in the month of November. Does that make sense?
I'm the person who you need to say it to 5 times, so I'll listen to
I'll say it to you one more time. So, all right, we figured out that it's costing you $24 to book a call. How we did that is we took how much you've spent so far this month and divided it by how many calls you booked, and that got us 24. So now if we want to know how many calls we're going to book in November, we take how much we're going to spend in ads in November and divide that by how much it's costing us to book an ad or to book a call, which is $24, and that gets us 100. So you're going to book 100 calls in November, roughly. Okay. So now, if we want to come up with your sales team targets, the next number that we would need to know is your show rate. So usually I take the trailing 3 months, so the average of the past 3 months, but to keep things simple, we'll just do what you did this past month. So we already know that's 57%. So you take 100, multiply that by 0.57. So you're going to have 57 of those 100 calls show. All right. You don't track, do you track pitch rate, or is that none? That's probably not.
No, we don't track that. Well, I basically pitched everybody, honestly.
Okay, cool. So we'll just say that pitch rate's 100%, so that you're going to pitch 57 of these calls. 57 of all the 57 that show. All right, close rate was 47%, right?
Yes.
Okay. See, I know your numbers better than you now. All right, so you always want to measure close rate against calls shown, not against calls pitched. So you take the 57 calls that are going to show, multiply that by 0.47. All right, so now you can expect that you are going to close 27 clients next month. All right. Obviously, we got to maintain the 47%. We got to maintain the 57% show. But these are your numbers here. All right. So now to create her individual numbers, we need to figure out that availability piece becomes really important, because out of these 100 calls, how many is Anna going to take and how many is your closer going to take is going to dictate what her individual targets are.
So she has 40 slots for the next month.
Okay, so she's going to take 40% of everything here then. So okay, so she's going to have, oh, she only has 40 slots.
40 slots, yeah.
So usually I like to save 50% of their slots for reschedules and follow-ups. So unfortunately, she's only going to be able to take 20 of these 100 calls. And that really helps with the show rate. So I know show rate is something that we're chatting about. If they have 40 slots and you use 100% of their 40 slots for calls booked, they have no room for reschedules or follow-ups, which is really going to fuck them. So try to save 50% if you can. All right. So let's just say that she takes 20 calls. All right. So that means that she's going to take 20% of everything. So you got to multiply all these numbers by 0.2. So 100 times 0.2 is 20. 57 times 0.2 is 11. So 11 calls will show. And then 27 times 0.2 is 5. All right. So she'll have 20 calls, 11 will show, and 5 will close. All right. Now we're getting to your question. So determining the bonus. Do you know what your average package sold is? If not, I can figure that out too. Yes, no? You said no?
It's 2,100.
That's the average package sold? Nice. Okay, cool. All right. So now we need to take that number and multiply it by how many calls she's going to close, which is 5. All right. So she's going to contract $10,500. All right. So what I like to do from here is you want to collect. What percentage do you want to collect?
I don't remember.
Somebody help her out. We
What
talked
did
about
we
it
say?
earlier.
More than 25%?
Yep. How much more?
65%.
Nope. That would be awesome though.
35.
35. Yes, there we go. So now you take this contracted target, 10,500, and you multiply that by 0.35 because that's your KPI. All right. So now she's going to collect, her target to collect is $3,675. All right. So now we can figure out the bonus. So what we do for bonuses is we do it based off of the number, the target of collected revenue, not contracted revenue. The reason you don't want to do a bonus off of contracted revenue is that money is not fully promised, right? There's a chance that somebody can cancel. And if you're paying out bonus on things that aren't actually real, then you could be losing money. But collected, right? That money is 100% ours. So if we pay out a bonus on collected money, we're in the clear. So what we do is 4% of their collected target. So 3675 times 0.04, right, is going to get her bonus. Now that's a little low. I don't think that's going to be super incentivizing. So let's go a little bit higher. Let's see what 7% looks like. I don't like that either. Let's see. Let's go 10%. Cool. I think that's a good number. Just calling it $400 as her bonus. If she collects $3,675, you give her an extra $400, but she has to collect that amount. Damn, I just did like a hour's worth of work for you in 15 minutes here.
Yeah, literally.
Do you have all that down, or do you want me to?
No, I got it. Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, beautiful. Anybody else need sales targets? All right, let's keep rocking. Who's got the next question? Yes, no, maybe so. No one? Everybody's good? I'll take the 15 minutes. Thumbs up if you feel 100% good to crush the rest of this week. Kyle? He's thinking. Okay, let's get off mute. Let's talk about it.
I mean, it's not that we have already talked. Excuse me. No, we've already talked. I'm working on all the stuff we're working on. I feel good. I don't feel. I just still struggling to man the land freaking sale. I don't know what it is. It's just gonna make me lose my mind.
Or you're still, call volume's not an issue. You're still getting on calls?
5, 6 a week. You know, not hitting 20 a week, but I'm not doing marketing or anything.
Show rate is not an issue right now.
75%.
Fuck yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. And then I get on these calls and they're like I talked to a guy yesterday. We went through the whole thing, had good rapport, felt good. I was like, yeah, man, I really want to do it. I don't get paid for a couple of weeks. You know, we went back and forth. We tried to, small deposit, all the stuff. He's like, let's just set a call for 2 weeks. I hate those,
I hate those too. Do you record your calls?
I record all my calls. I have a sales training with Darren again on Thursday as well.
Send me one. I'll watch one.
Okay.
You can just send it to me on WhatsApp and I'll give it a watch. Can't guarantee it'll be today, but I'll try to get it in by the end of the week.
Send it on WhatsApp. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
Drive?
the Zoom link or
Google Drive link.
Preferably if you have the Zoom link, or if you can upload it to YouTube, just so I can 2x speed it. That would be best.
Okay.
Sweet. Looking forward to it. All right. Everybody else was thumbs up. Kelsey, were you thumbs up? You were thumbs up? All right. Going once, going twice. You guys good? All right. Let's fucking crush it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.